You see him on the news.
CNN.com contributor, Dean Obeidallah. So, Dean...
Watch him at comedy clubs.
When I say Mecca, do you think of a holy place or an urban clothing line?
Read his articles. And you hear him on the radio. The Dean Obeidallah Show is on live right here on SiriusXM Progress, Channel 127.
And welcome to the show, brothers and sisters of the resistance. It is Friday, March 29th. I'm Dean Obeidallah, hoping to be your MBFF. On Twitter at Dean Obeidallah, Facebook.com/Dean of Radio, where you can watch us if you so choose, or Dean at deanofradio.com. I thought last Friday was our last Mueller Friday, but it's turned out not to be, because Bill Barr just dropped a letter sort of changing the games, and we're learning more. And I can tell you what we've learned. Here's what we've learned. We are watching a cover-up of Donald Trump's crimes by Bill Barr in real time. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say that hyperbolically. I say that as a lawyer from a legal background, looking at what is going on in front of us here, and also understanding media narratives. This is a game by Bill Barr. And I must be honest with you, and we'll go through it. Bill Barr was picked for this reason: to cover up and protect Donald Trump at all costs. Even if Trump didn't know about Bill Barr's history, we'll go through it. The GOP establishment knew about Bill Barr's history, and they picked Bill Barr to protect the GOP brand, and that meant protecting Donald Trump. Do I think Bill Barr likes Trump? Doesn't matter. He is a GOP brand man who's been protecting it since the 1990s. And we'll get into that more, but it's remarkable, isn't it? Think about it. Bill Barr was able to summarize a 400-page report in 2 days, and a week later, he has not released even one page of that report. He's released about 4 lines of the report. That's it. And let's be brutally honest. If you read about an investigation of a president in another country, or after the investigation, the report was handed to 2 people appointed by that president, who looked at the report and declared that the person who appointed them had not committed any crimes, you would say that's a banana republic. But it's not. It's the United States of America under the Donald Trump regime. That's the nation we live in now. So let's get through a lot of this stuff. I think it's really important. If you haven't heard about the new letter, it came out a short time ago from Bill Barr, promising we might get the report in a few weeks after it's redacted. So we'll get a report that says, like, Dear Bill Barr, and then a bunch of black stuff, and then sincerely, Robert Mueller. That's what we're going to get. Essentially. You know it, and I know that. And in the letter today that Bill Barr wrote, he said right now him and others in DOJ are going through the Mueller report, which he says is nearly 400 pages, without attachments, without appendices, anything. Just at least 400 pages. And he said that they're looking for things that are specific, like sources and methods. That's fine. Then he adds his one big catch-all. And they're going to redact or get rid of, quote, any information that would unduly infringe on the personal privacy and reputational interests of peripheral third parties. Who are third parties to Bill Barr? Is Donald Trump a third party? Is Donald Trump Jr.? Ivanka? Roger Stone? Julian Assange? Of all of those, the only one who might not be considered a third party is Donald Trump. But the others, we won't see anything that Donald Trump Jr. did. We won't know anything Roger Stone did. Roger Stone was not part of the campaign. Donald Trump created a buffer, and he protected himself efficiently because Donald Trump's been dealing with breaking the law for years and years and years. So what's remarkable, too, in the Bill Barr letter of today, he writes this. He says that, and just like very Trumpian, he attacks the media and lies to us at the same time. Like Trump, like we don't have access to Google. Here's what today Bill Barr said. Quote, I'm aware of some media reports and other public statements mischaracterizing my March 24th notification as a summary, he puts in quotes, of the special counsel's investigation report. Oh, the media is mischaracterizing that letter as a summary. Where could any of us in the media gotten the idea that what you wrote on March 24th was a summary? That's the exact quote of his word, summary, because it's not a summary. We are mischaracterizing. Let's look at the March 24th letter. Let's see, maybe you would have thought it was a summary too, because he writes, quote, March 24th letter, today, I am writing today to advise you of the principal conclusions reached by Special Counsel Robert S. Mueller III and to inform you about the status of my initial review of the report. Adding, below I summarize the principal conclusions set out in the special counsel report. Oh my God, why would we think it's a summary when you put in the letter? It's a summary of the principal conclusions of Robert Mueller. Why? Oh my God, the media is just so fake newsy, isn't it? How dare we actually use the words that he wrote in his letter and take him at his word that it was a summary. He wrote it's a summary. And now we're the bad people. That's minor. Let's get into more about this. And some people have said, in fact, I was talking to Selena Maxwell a short time ago, some believe Robert Mueller may have been pushing back against this summary that Bill Barr did as being incomplete or even misleading. We don't know, but that's plausible. Makes a lot of sense. In any event, Bill Barr was hired to protect Donald Trump and the GOP brand. And he will, in any event, he will do whatever he has to protect Donald Trump. And I'll give you history. It's not just opinion. This is based on Bill Barr's own personal actions in the 1990s. But let's first start with one thing so that we all know what's going on here from a legal point of view. Many people have asked, hey, I saw the Ken Starr report after Bill Clinton investigation online. I saw all these documents and attachments. Why don't we see that with this report? What's going on here? And many, and I think Rachel Maddow made a point on her show last night, that within 2 days of Ken Starr delivering the report to Congress, it was released to the public. That's absolutely right. September 9th, 1998, Ken Starr releases his report to Congress, 11 possible grounds for impeachment. The report's 445 pages. 2 days later, Congress makes the report public. It was so insane at that time the internet was still more of its infancy. It crashed government servers and nearly doubled web traffic, all web traffic in one day. That's how primitive the internet was at the time in 1998 when you think about it. So why are we not seeing that in the Mueller report? Well, here's why. The law changed. And in 1978, when Congress passed the Ethics in Government Act after Watergate, it created this independent counsel. That's what Ken Starr was appointed under. And it says that person is required by law, by statute, to advise the House of Representatives of any substantial and credible information which independent counsel receives. So in other words, the independent counsel must tell the House what he or she finds, whether or not it meets the level of prosecution of somebody. As a result, the independent counsel wrote their report understanding the public's going to see it. So they write it very clearly with clear conclusions, not leaving it up to an attorney general to make the final decision. They are actually writing it knowing the public will see this and make conclusions based on it. Well, that statute from 1978 expired in 1999, the year after the Clinton investigation, and it was never renewed. What happened then, the Department of Justice created their own internal regulations, and these laid the groundwork for where we are today, empowering Bill Barr to cover up the crimes of Donald Trump. Because in the new regulations promulgated in 1999, it said the Attorney General had more power to decide how much of the final report is given to us. It says, quote, at the conclusion of the special counsel's work, he or she shall provide the AG with a confidential report explaining prosecution or declination, decisions reached by special counsel. Another part of this DOJ regulation says the Attorney General may determine that public release of these reports would be in the public interest to the extent that release would comply with applicable legal restrictions. But not including in this DOJ regulations at all, nothing included, was a requirement the special counsel released to Congress, not even to Congress or the public, their findings. That's where we are. So despite that, the House of Representatives, just a week before the report came out, voted 420-0. That means every Republican there, except for a few who voted present, voted to release this report. So Democrats and Republicans in the House voted a week before the report came out, 420-0 to release the report. Public opinion today in new polls show 3/4 of Americans want the report to be released. And we want it released. We are stuck. So now back to Bill Barr. Understanding the regulations being what they are, whoever was going to be the next Attorney General after Jeff Sessions was gone was going to have an inordinate amount of power to prevent us, the public, and Congress from seeing the findings of Robert Mueller. Trump knew that. And more importantly, the GOP establishment understood who Bill Barr is. Bill Barr is known as the cover-up Attorney General. Cover-up Attorney General. That's not my words. That was from an op-ed in the New York Times written by a conservative in 1992, William Safire, writing about William Barr, who was then AG in 1992 under George Herbert Walker Bush, and how he covered up the Iran-Contra investigation. and how he was able to use pardons to cover that up. He's been called the cover-up AG since 1992. And in that investigation, December 4th, 1992, George Bush, the father, pardoned 6 people who had been caught up in the investigation. Then AG William Barr, same guy, supported the president's decision, which gave clemency to people involved, including Caspar Weinberger, who was about to go on trial, who was Secretary of Defense. Lawrence Walsh, the prosecutor at the time, said, quote, "It demonstrates that powerful people with powerful allies can commit serious crimes in high office, deliberately abusing the public trust without consequences." That's what the independent prosecutor in Iran-Contra, Lawrence Walsh, said. These words I want to read again because they should resonate in your head, because it's exactly what we're seeing now, and Bill Barr was behind that. Lawrence Walsh said in frustration, because thanks to Bill Barr and George Bush, they pardoned people he needed to make his case. Because already George Herbert Walker Bush had just lost the election and Bill Clinton was leaving. Lawrence Walsh said that these pardons, it demonstrates that powerful people with powerful allies can commit serious crimes in high offices, deliberately abusing the public trust without consequences. Bill Barr said later about the pardons, "I favor the broadest pardon authority. There were some people just arguing for Weinberger. I said, no, in for a penny, in for a pound." This is Bill Barr. This is Bill Barr, who thwarted the investigation by Lawrence Walsh and Iran-Contra and the crimes of Ronald Reagan and George Herbert Walker Bush, potentially as well, but definitely Ronald Reagan, to violate a congressional mandate and sell weapons to the Contras in El Salvador, in Central America, that were going on in a fight down there in circumvention of U.S. laws. And they went to Congress and lied about it. And thanks to Bill Barr, cover-up AG Barr, they got away with it. And you can hear Lawrence Walsh, independent prosecutor's frustration. That's why Bill Barr was chosen. There's no doubt. And again, Trump, I doubt, knows Bill Barr. I doubt he knows anything about Iran-Contra or Lawrence Walsh or any of this. But people around him, the people who guard the GOP brand, the people who want to make sure that they're not terribly tarnished through Trump. They might not like him, but he delivers on the right-wing Christian Sharia judges they dream of, and gets rid of environmental regulations that make us sicker but make their corporate donors more profits. They want Donald Trump. They need to protect Trump. They might even hate Trump. The GOP brand cannot be damaged. That's why they push for Bill Barr. And they probably said to Trump, this guy will protect you. This guy will cover up and you have nothing to worry about. And they are right. That's what we're seeing right now. With all that knowledge, Bill Barr was chosen and confirmed by Republicans in the Senate. Now we have House Judiciary Chair Jerrold Nadler, Democrat, good guy, still dealing with Bill Barr like, well, let's be deferential and we don't need to subpoena you. Let's negotiate a date for your hearing. No, subpoena this guy. This guy is a cover-up artist. We are watching a cover-up in front of us go on right now. And I can tell you this, I can assure you the report we get in mid-April will redact so much of what we need to know. And what's going to happen then, the media narrative will be about all the fighting over the redaction. And it'll be Democrat versus Republican. So it'll seem like a partisan skirmish to the American people, as opposed to a report by an independent counsel saying Donald Trump committed these crimes. Because if Robert Mueller's report had said that an obstruction of justice, clearly and unambiguously, it would have been a game changer. But instead, whatever we get, there'll be a fight. It might go to court to get more and more. And it's going to seem like politics as usual, Democrats being covered up by Bill Barr, the man he just appointed. Can you believe, honestly, for a second, think about this. In the United States of America in 2019, the President of the United States appoints someone, Rod Rosenstein's a Republican, appoints him, who then appoints a Republican, Robert Mueller, to do an investigation. I have all the respect in the world for Robert Mueller. They do that investigation. They give the report back to make a decision back to Rod Rosenstein and Bill Barr, again, someone appointed by the president. And the people the president has appointed clear him of crimes. And we have to go like, well, it seems okay. I guess that's how it works. Maybe in the old days of politics, that's how it worked. It doesn't work anymore. This is a fundamentally rigged and flawed system. And there's no way this should continue, this idea of how we have. There should be a separate independent counsel statute. You can have judges appoint the person however we want to do it, but they should be above board, not partisan in any way whatsoever. So, and by the way, in the report, in the letter today by Bill Barr, very interesting point. It says here, quote, although the president would have the right to assert privilege over certain parts of the report, he has stated publicly that he intends to defer to me, and accordingly, there are no plans to submit the report to the White House for a privilege review. Why submit it to the White House? Why have Trump ask for anything to be redacted when he knows Bill Barr is going to cover for everything for him? There's no doubt about it. You don't need Donald Trump to do executive privilege. Then it seems like he's hiding something. Bill Barr will do that for you. The guy involved in pardoning 6 people to stop Lawrence Walsh's Iran-Contra investigation will protect you, Donald Trump. That's why he was picked. So they've obviously had a conversation. And again, the president would have a right to assert the privilege on certain parts. He has stated publicly he intends to defer to me. To me, Bill Barr. Of course he'll defer to me. He gave me my job. Of course, I'm the guy you call in. I'm the cleaner. I'm Harvey Keitel in Pulp Fiction. I'm the guy that cleans up the mess. Don't worry about me. I'm Bill Barr. And when I leave here, I'll get another big partnership at another big law firm in D.C. and be celebrated and feted for saving the Trump administration. This is where we are, my friends. So we have a cover-up. I don't know what we'll see. Regardless of the cover-up, it comes down to the basics of the same thing. And I have some great guests on tonight. Andrew Gillum, who I just interviewed a short time ago, who we talked about this, and I cannot agree more, that Mueller is not going to be the person who's going to remove Donald Trump. It is something I've said over and over. We are going to do that. And we will do that. I have no doubt. But this is a travesty of justice. This is a trashing of the Constitution. It's obscene and it's vile. And it's all part of the Trump regime. Non-administrative Trump regime. So what do you want to hear from Democrats? What do you want Democrats, Jerry Nadler, to do? What do you want Adam Schiff to do now in response? What do you want our Democratic chairs to do in response? Just have normal hearings? Subpoena Bill Barr and go, look, we're not going to wait till May 1st, buddy. And we want the entire report. And I was watching some Democrats on TV and well-intentioned being asked about the report. And they're like, well, with appropriate redactions, that's all right. We'll get the report. No, Democrats, you're negotiating against yourself. What you should say is we want every single page of the report given to Congress. What's given to the public is different, but every single page of the report given to Congress, we have a right to see it. We are elected officials representing the entire United States of America. We have a right to see the entire report. I guess potentially sources and methods you can redact names. That would be fine, but nothing else to protect the identity if they're talking about, our agents or spies who did stuff for us. That's different. But barring that, and then let them negotiate back and forth as opposed to, we'll be fine with them. And then there's too much redaction. Like, well, you said you'd be okay with redaction. What do you want the Democrats to do? What's your reaction to this letter? Is Bill Barr covering this up? Am I missing something? I'm happy to hear from you. 866-997-4748. 866-997-4748. Be right back on the Dean Obeidallah Show. You're my guest right to the top of the hour. Be back.
The Dean Obeidallah Show.
I think Trump clips that they play on the media should come with a health warning saying that if you watch this, you'll get dumber.
Never